All right. I can see you.
Yep,
You
I
can
can
see
see
me.
you. Yep.
What about y'all? Can y'all see now? Please tell me this shit is working now. Dude, we have had so many problems with this shit.
I've watched a
So
couple of them.
much.
They seem to go pretty smoothly from what I've seen for the most part. A little bit, John Wayne Murdoch's, and it put it in my head for me to remember the other ones. Beep, buddy.
Yes, I am smoking a cigarette in the dark. Y'all can see that. Okay, and they can see you. They can see me
Yeah.
smoking a cigarette in the dark. So they can see us. We're good to go.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
we got it this time.
Yeah, hopefully. Fucking Facebook. All right. Um, do my whole plan off. Okay. Let's see. So you said you called a couple of them?
Yeah, like one or two, just like a little bit. I kind of had it like just kind of had it playing while I was doing other stuff in the background.
Some background noise.
For the most part, yeah. I didn't actively participate, but yeah, I did. I know for sure I watched the one with John Wayne Murdoch a little bit.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I like that one. That one was cool.
Mm.
You mean you
I'll
were
probably
you
watch.
you you joined in?
What's up?
Oh, I was gonna say you joined in live, but you just didn't say anything, or you just
I think I said like a dumb comment probably.
oh,
So
okay.
I haven't seen Murdoch in forever, so I probably would have said something stupid.
All right. Let's see. Well, Eric Roberts asked me a question earlier. What was my favorite band? So I'm gonna ask you that right now.
My favorite band changes a lot, actually. Um, Hey, Scotty, fucking commentary buddies. No, my favorite band changes a lot. Right now, it's hard to pick a favorite. Like Lorna Shore, Fit for an Autopsy are way up there. I've gotten really into like Devourment lately for some reason, and I don't know, I really like Full of Hell a lot right now. But if you ask me in like 6 months from now, it's probably going to be completely different. So I'm not like it'll be like the same type of shit, but it'll be like a different band. Like for whatever reason, I'll get like super into a particular band, and then I'll be like way into them for a few months, and then I'll still listen to them, but then like it'll almost be like another band kind of pushes its way into the spotlight. But I've been listening to Devourment a lot at the gym lately, and I don't know why I started doing that because I always liked them, but I was never like super into them, and lately I have been. So and it was weird.
Okay. Let's see. So, how long have you been having the HIV? Is it right? HIV?
Yeah. So I was diagnosed with it this year in January. Um, like I think like the beginning of January. Um, Fun fact, um, I actually found out the month that I contracted it. I still don't know who gave it to me, but I do know exactly how long I've had it. So I did like some super expert detective work on my own Facebook page and tried to narrow down and what I've learned about HIV and how long it takes for certain things to affect your body in certain ways. And yeah, it turns out I've actually had it for a long time. I actually found out I contracted it in like I think it's maybe like a month ago that I figured it out. But yeah, I actually contracted it in March of 2013. So I've actually had it for like over 5 years, coming up on 6 years now. And I didn't know I had it until January. Fucking crazy.
Did you know where you got it from?
Um, I know how I got it. I don't know who I got it from, but yeah, I mean, I know exactly how I got it.
You want to tell us how you got it?
Oh yeah, I got it from fucking.
Oh, okay.
I got it from I got it from putting my dick in somebody I shouldn't have. So
Holy shit.
yeah, I was just
Okay.
yeah. I got it the
So
old-fashioned
you
way, I guess.
You said you've been having it for how long again?
March 2013 is when I was able to narrow it down as to when I got it.
Were you still doing death matches then?
No, I wasn't doing death matches then. I didn't start doing death matches until like the beginning of 2015. Like the first death, like so 2 years afterward. But the entire kind of scary to think about. But the entire time I was doing death matches, I had it. Um, but yeah, I my first death match was Prince of the Death Matches with no, I'm not on prep. That's prep is for to prevent you from getting it. I'm well past that. I'm sorry, I'm responding to Eric who just
Oh
messaged.
no, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You
No,
said
like
I know that I've been reading your posts and everything, and you say that you want people to be educated
oh yeah,
about it,
like
right?
if anybody has any questions about it whatsoever, like I'm 150% willing to answer. I feel like I could do a TED talk at this point. I'm kind of like a pseudo expert on it now. But no, like prep is preventative. They used to use prep to treat it, but now there's that's why on the commercials that you see that you have to be negative to take it. You can take it to suppress it if you're positive already, but there's just way better medications that are out there. Um, but no, to backtrack a little bit, um, I the first ever death match I did was with Dale Patrick's at Prince of the Death Matches in 2015, and yeah, I was positive then. I just didn't know it. Nobody knew it really at that point because I can't speak for everybody, and I mentioned this in a podcast before. Fun fact about deathmatch tournaments: they say that they require clean blood tests from everybody. Not all of them do, obviously. So, but yeah, no, AIDS sucks, Eric. I'm sorry to hear that. Like that's actually what caused me to have what caused cancer when I got it was it had actually already my HIV had already reached full blown AIDS at that point. That's actually how I ended up with cancer. So fun fact for everybody out there watching.
Okay. Let's see. Uh,
I was working with
let's see.
Mr. California. It,
Yeah.
you know what? The rumors about him aren't like well I'm not gonna say rumors. The reputation that he's gotten, I didn't experience it. I have my suspicions as to why. He actually took pretty good care of me, honestly. Like he paid me exactly what he said he was gonna pay me. I didn't I didn't have a return flight back from the first one. That's partially on me though. That's not entirely his fault because the very next week I was supposed to be doing Crimson Cup and so I was kind of on the fence on whether or not I was just going to stay the week out there or if I was going to fly out there, fly back, and then fly out there again. By the time I gave him a definitive answer, it was already too late for him to be able to get me a return flight. So that's actually more on me than it is on him. Um, I mean, working with him was it was like working with anybody else. You know, he kind of wanted to do a lot of the spots that he had seen in like other matches, I think. Like he kind of wanted to just it almost seemed like he wanted to recreate like the bigger deathmatch spots rather than like us go out and kind of do our own thing and create our own thing a little bit. But beyond that, I mean, I didn't have any problems working with him. Like it's um yeah, it was fine. He took perfectly good care of me. I think because like people had already shit on him so much that I guess he didn't want another person. I kind of feel like he wanted me to be the guy to kind of like um, he kind of wanted me to not have anything shitty to say about him or to kind of be the guy who was like, oh yeah, no, he was fine. He, you know, all that stuff is blown way out of proportion, etc. So I don't know. That's just a theory, but yeah, no, he was fine with me. There's a long one from Cody. Hang on. So I'm doing death matches for a while, having it, and then I'll read the
Yeah,
rest.
go ahead.
So yeah, so as far as disclosure law goes, yes, I do have to legally disclose that I have HIV to anybody that I put in a situation that could get it. Fun thing about HIV that I learned upon having it that a lot of people don't know, which is why I'm in the position that I am as far as nobody wanting me around in wrestling anymore, is because a lot of people think that it's a lot easier to get HIV than it actually is. Turns out it's actually pretty fucking hard to get it. Case in point, I've had numerous relationships with different people, long term, short term, everything within that 5 year span that I've had it. I haven't given a single person HIV. Not a single person that I've done death matches with has come out and said that they are HIV positive. And when I announced it, actually everybody went out and got tested right away, and everybody that got tested confirmed that they were actually HIV negative. So I've actually never given it to anybody, and that is without me actually knowing it. Now, if I were to give HIV to somebody and I don't know that I have it personally, yeah, I mean, there's nothing that's not a felony because I didn't know that I had it. Now, if I knowing full well that I have it, like if I sleep with somebody knowing that I have it now and I don't disclose that, then yes, at that point I would be committing a crime. But a lot of places, a lot of states are actually doing away with disclosure laws now because it's so manageable and so treatable, and because we know a lot more about it now, because it's not 1980 anymore. And that's why it was such an epidemic, because we didn't know anything about it. Now we know so much about it. Honestly, I think we're gonna have a cure for it in the next year or two. Like I 100% believe that. But now it's basically just like another STD at this point. Like, I think you're legally supposed to disclose STDs, or I don't know. But for the most part, yeah, no, it's not a big deal like it used to be. Like I take a pill every day. That's it. That's literally it. And I can't give it to anybody. So let me. Um, Not trying to be a hater. I was actually a big fan for the cancer thing. No, I don't take that as you being a hater at all, man. You had a valid question, and yeah, and that's what I encourage everybody doing this to do. If you have a question for me, whether it's about, I mean, especially about HIV or anything, ask. I'll be more than happy to answer. Corey, are there any wrestlers nah, how will not go against you because of your condition? I'm not going to name any names. There are a lot of places, a lot of people that won't work with me. There's a lot of people who have come out and said that will happily work with me, and a lot that unfortunately haven't. A very close friend of mine, I'm not going to name his name, very close friend of mine that I've done death matches with, that I figured at this point he knows I'm not a risk to anybody. I asked him because I was planning on doing one more match actually, and I was trying to figure out who it would be with. I asked him, and he said he's not comfortable wrestling with me, which is it sucked. It actually kind of hurt a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's between he and I. I'm not gonna put his business out
Was it
there.
going to be a death match? Is that what you wanted, a death match? Oh,
Oh,
it's just a regular match. Okay.
yeah. No, I trust me. If I could still do death matches, I would do one in a heartbeat. But no, I absolutely cannot. I actually I can still wrestle. There's nothing preventing me from wrestling other than people's perception of what they think that I can give them, which is nothing. Um, because people think that I'm an HIV risk. That's the only reason why I'm not able to wrestle anymore, is because people have threatened to. I've been booked 8 times since I announced that I was HIV positive, and all 8 times the booking was pulled because wrestlers protested. Wrestlers I wasn't even wrestling, just people didn't want me on the show, period, because of a stigma that's not true, and it's very, very, very frustrating. Um, but yeah, no, it would have just been a regular match. So there are people out there, they don't want to wrestle with me. They don't even want me on shows, period. But yeah, unfortunately, there are some wrestlers that they have said that they won't work with me directly. Gary Emmett, all the love to Adam. Thank you, Gary. Love you too, man. Kevin, are you still planning on doing a career compilation on your matches like you mentioned a while back? I Yes and no. Like just because the whole backlash that I got with trying to wrestle this year, all on like I just feel the whole year has made me feel just really like let down by a lot of people that I thought were close friends, and just the wrestling business in general has let me down tremendously on an emotional level throughout this whole year, that I really just lost 100% interest in anything wrestling related. I haven't tried to put any merch out. I haven't really thought about putting any merch out for a couple of reasons. One, because just wrestling just doesn't it's just not the same to me anymore, after going through all this with everybody, with trying to stay involved and everybody making it very obvious they don't want me involved anymore. Like that's the thing that sucks about it, because it's like and I explained this to a friend of mine when we were actually on the car to Unsanctioned Pro, actually. I'm gonna skip ahead because I just saw somebody say stay positive. That's can't really help that, can I? um, but yeah, I was explaining it to him. It's like being ostracized from wrestling the way that I have. It seriously feels like wrestling broke up with me. Like I seriously feel like it's like a girlfriend that you've had for years and years and years and years and years that they just suddenly just out of nowhere the relationship's over and there's nothing you can do to rebuild that. But what makes it even worse is that it's all based on information that isn't true. Yes, I do have this, but I can't give it to anybody. And I can very easily prove that I can't. There's a mountain of scientific evidence and medical evidence that show that I'm not an HIV threat to anybody. So it almost feels like, because I've been wrestling for 15 years, it feels like a 15-year-long relationship ended over a rumor that I'm cheating, basically. It's kind of how it feels. So yeah, that kind of really sucks. I couldn't have given it to anybody through all the violent anal sex, Steve, as my roommate. What's the next one? I'd work it. Thank you, Eric. That means a lot. A lot of people have said that they'll work with me. It's just I can't find anybody to actually book it. Like I always tell people, anytime I get a message in my inbox where it's like, "Hey, man, I'll happily wrestle you." That's great, and that means a lot. But I tell everybody the same thing. All you have to do is find someone to book it, and I'll be there. And then I never hear a word from them ever again. And that's like just like a 90% of the time. Like that's the 90% of the struggles that I'm going through is either getting pulled from shows or people telling me that they'll work with me and then it going no further than that. So it kind of really sucks.
Derek said hashtag violent anal sex.
Derek is the only reason why I still have any involvement in wrestling right now. If it weren't for Derek, and if I didn't love Derek so much, I wouldn't even be doing commentary for Unsanctioned Pro. I would have just said fuck it and just walked away from pro wrestling altogether. It seriously would have been like the Hulk walking down the street with like the sad music playing from like the old '80s show. Like I just people have made me not want anything to do with wrestling because like just it's really frustrating. And I thought that I could use wrestling to kind of spread awareness as like and educate everybody that like, hey, once you're undetectable, which I am, once your medication makes it to where there's so little of the virus in your body, I'm always gonna have it. But the medication suppresses it so much to where it's almost like it's there but it's not kind of thing. And when it's at that point, like I cannot give it to anybody at all. Like I'll use my girlfriend as an example because yes, I do have a girlfriend right now. We've been together for about a month and a half, and she still doesn't have it at all. Like, and she's not in any way concerned that she's going to get it either. So, I mean, if I can't give it to somebody that I'm sleeping with, why do you think you can get it from me rolling around in the ring? If nobody got it from me in all these violent, bloody ass fucking death matches, you can get it from me any other way. That's the biggest frustration about wrestling right now for me. What what else have I ever thought about writing about your life and experiences? Partially, I have. I don't think that anybody would really give a shit though. Is the thing. Like I'm more than happy to do stuff like this and podcasts and interviews and all that kind of stuff. I also don't have the attention span to do something like that, to like actually do something like that to like full completion. Um, I still would love to do like a shoot interview of some kind. Like that's like I've always kind of hoped that I would be over enough to where anybody would give a fuck whether or not like I did a shoot or not. Like for anybody even approach me asking to do one, but yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. I've always had a really low opinion of myself, so I just kind of assume that nobody really gives a shit about my thoughts or opinions about things anyway. Um, Shoot style.
What about your thoughts on Carnage Cup? Your Carnage Cup experience. Flip wants to know about that.
Oh my God. So Carnage Cup was fun.
Which Carnage
So
Cup was that?
Carnage Cup 11 is the last Carnage Cup.
Okay.
Funny enough, I actually have, let me move some of my stuff out of the way here. I actually have still in my room. I never put up the poster from Carnage Cup 11 that I stole. So
You
I,
stole the fucking poster.
yeah, I saw it sitting there, and I was like, yeah, I was in this, so I'm gonna take this. Uh, so that night, the show was at like I think it was supposed to start at like 11 o'clock in the morning, and that was like almost in Alabama. It was like a half hour away from Alabama, the Alabama Tennessee border. So Marcus Crane meets me at my house. Like I'm like an hour away from Marcus. He comes from Chicago, so we leave at midnight. We go down to Indianapolis to pick up Dale Patricks and Josh Crane. So we get down there at about 10 o'clock in the morning. I haven't slept at all. I don't know if Marcus has slept. I think he slept in the car. Most likely he slept in the car. So we get down there and we're just waiting around and waiting around and waiting around. It feels like it takes forever. And then we hear, oh yeah, the Carnage Cup got pushed back a couple hours. Okay, well that's great. It's indie wrestling. Who cares? First, we got lost going down there, and there was no cell phone reception. I saw all the crazy bullshit that they were making down there. I swear to God, people in the South, they think this fucking deathmatch shit is like they think people are we're trying to shoot kill each other because some of that shit was just ridiculous. Well, I mean, fuck. I mean, everybody saw the Angel of Death nonsense. It was just a bunch of that stuff.
Oh, I
So
loved it. I'm
yeah,
from the South, by the way.
I mean that's fine, like if that's what you're into, but it's like fuck, they just take it so far down there, like it's crazy. Because
We
there was
have higher expectations.
like yeah,
That let's
yeah,
put it like that.
yeah, like I got down there, I thought someone was legitimately gonna die at Carnage Cup because there was no cell reception for like a half hour, within a half hour of us getting there. We're out in the middle of nowhere. Thank God there's an ambulance there, which I think Matt Tremont actually did have to get ambulanced out from blood loss because he was fucking gushing everywhere. And this one dude who like cut his thumb slightly, we all made fun of him really bad for a long, long time after this. I can't remember his name, but he's a giant pussy from what I remember. Like nothing wrong with the dude at all. He was one of the guys in the gauntlet. Like the dude, like fucking Travis Dykes got fucking a razor wire bat stuck in his chest, and this dude nicks his thumb. He's like, "Oh, hospital." Fuck you, dude. Fucking pussy. Um, but I always said that like there are only two things that I would never do in death matches. Like I won't do fire, I won't do syringes. Probably a good thing I didn't do syringes, knowing what we know now. Um, but yeah, there were so many things that I saw there at Carnage Cup where I'm just like, not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Not doing that. Um, so yeah, we were there all day. Um, we got there at 10 in the morning. We didn't leave until the sun was already down. We were all hot. We were exhausted. We were tired. I almost crashed the car driving home. I fell asleep driving back, so I almost killed all of us. Um, Carnage Cup was fun. Fucking 4 out of 10 would not do again.
It's
Let me
just,
go back.
it was too much. That's what you're saying?
Um, yes and no. I kind of think that it was too much. First of all, the gauntlet lasted for like the half the fucking show was the fucking deathmatch gauntlet. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it just seemed like a lot. And I get what the appeal of Carnage Cup is like, because I've always loved watching the Carnage Cups. Like it's they have that reputation of being like having the most violent stipulations and everything like that. But it's like fuck, it doesn't have to be that crazy for it to be good. It's just I kind of feel like that's the appeal of Carnage Cup though. Um, all in all though, like it was I'm glad that I was on one of the better Carnage Cups because I've seen some of them that were kind of like ugh. It almost kind of seemed like every other one was really good. It was like a good one and then like one that was and then a good one and then So I kind of feel like I'm glad I was on a good one.
Okay. Oh, let's see. Your thoughts on the infamous Angel of Death video clips?
Oh my God. So I haven't watched the whole thing. I know a couple of people who are in it. I know Aiden, obviously. And I know Big Donnie. I can't say I know Big Donnie for good reasons. I know Big Donnie because of Heroes of Burke County. If you haven't watched it, do it. Go out, go find it. It's amazing. Um, that looked like one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I'm not. I'm not gonna mince words. That looked awful. It's like if you took the worst, like the craziest, most dangerous stipulations that you could, and you put them with like the worst guys you could find, like guys who you like. All you needed was just, yeah, I'll do it, cool, and then that was good enough. Like it was so bad. A lot of it was laughable. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of it was really laughable. That's not me trying to shit on them. That's just my honest opinion. Like they just seemed like they could have done a lot better as far as like the guys that they got for it. Um, it's not the stipulations that make the deathmatch tournaments. It's the talent. It's the talent that you put in it. You can have some of the best talent and the lamest stips, and it would still be really good. I'm honestly just really glad nobody got hurt. Like, because there's a really high chance of people getting hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, what do you think about the one with the grinder?
That's way too much, I think. Like, I don't want to. I hate to sound like one of those old school guys where I'm like, that shit's just unnecessary or anything like that. Like, I don't want to be a cornet or anything like that. But I just kind of feel like that's kind of the shit that like is just so hokey and over the top that that's the type of shit that like makes it really hard for that kind of stuff to be taken seriously sometimes, you know. It's like if you're going to do something, it's kind of like the spots that always drives me nuts. So there's like the spots where guys will set stuff up on top of each other and the guy will have to hold it in place for them. I've always hated stuff like that, and it's, I don't know, to me it's just like you can only suspend your disbelief so much when stuff like that when stuff like that is going on. So like I kind of feel like there's probably a better way to do it, I think, or maybe it shouldn't have been done at all, but to me it just kind of really, I don't know, I feel like it was too much. And it was too much for too little payoff, I should say.
Okay. Would you face Kevin in a shoot style baby match?
I wouldn't, only because I'm not even gonna try to sound badass or anything. I think if it came down to it, I think Kevin Brandon could probably beat the shit out of me. But I'm like 150 pounds. I've always said like any half the people in the crowd could probably beat the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. So, but no, I don't. I would prefer not to be in the same building as that motherfucker. So I think he's kind of a garbage human being.
Let's see. Cody said he watched the Cornish Cup from 2008 today. What did you think of uh what did you think that one of the as a fan? What did you think of it as a fan? Okay.
Which one was 2008?
Uh Shit, I do not know. Uh
Um, because I've seen most of them. Like I know I've seen just about all of them.
I go by numbers. I don't go
Yeah,
by the
that's what I
years.
do.
It's so much easier.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
could probably figure it out because I know I have like all of them on. I've pirated every single one of them. I'm not even gonna fucking lie. They're all on burned disc somewhere here. Um, yeah, I can't remember the numbers. When was the first one? The first one was what, like '06, I think.
'05, I believe, the one that got shut down.
Yeah, there's '05. Do they count that as the first one, or do they count the redo as the first one?
They called the first one the King of the Death Matches.
Yeah, but I think they went back and called that the first one. We'll just say so if so 2008, that would be the fourth one, I think. Assuming it's the fourth one. If I remember right, 4 wasn't a very good one. I think that was the one that was outside, I think. Okay, so
Yeah,
Cody
they're
would say
saying that
2008 was. At the time, I haven't gone back and watched it, but at the time, I don't remember really thinking much of it. Like I kind of felt like it was like it just seemed like the commentary killed it really bad for me, if I remember right. Like it just kind of seemed like the video quality wasn't all there. Like you could tell it wasn't done by Smart Mark. But I remember the commentary being kind of bad and the video quality just not being used to what I had seen up to that point. And yeah, it took me it was really hard for me to get into it. I don't think I watched the whole thing. I'm sure there were some good matches on it. I just don't really remember anything. Nothing stands out to me from that other than just it being outside.
Let's see. Corey wants to know what's the best match you have ever seen?
Fuck. No, it's really hard to. You gotta remember, I've had a lot of concussions, and I had chemo all last year, and AIDS isn't very good for the memory either. So I probably can't even remember the best match I've ever seen. Um, but if I had to think, fuck, what was one that just jumps out at me? I mean, and it was probably something from Japan in the '90s. If I had to sit and think about it, um, I don't know. To be honest, I really don't know. Um, I've always really liked the either the really flippy stuff that actually like has good storytelling in it, like Will Ospreay and Ricochet. I've always loved that kind of stuff, or like the really like good like story building strong style stuff too. Like Kobashi and Misawa. I've always loved that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, it would be really really hard for me to actually sit and think of like what my favorite match that I've seen is, or the best match that I've seen.
Okay. What was it like working for Ian Rotten?
Ian was cool. I mean, so the first couple times that I started working for Ian, it was kind of like I actually remember the first time I worked for him was I did the very first ever tryout show that they did like back in like 2008, I think. I split the back of my friend's head open. It was awful. It was a nightmare. Um, so, so I don't really count that. The first time that Ian actually booked me on my own merit or my for making his website and his flyers and all that, because I got my foot in the door by doing his graphic design stuff. Um, the first time working for him was fine. I was just happy to be there for the most part. He paid me, and he paid me more than I thought he was going to, because Ian had that reputation of not paying dudes. But every time I worked for him when it was IWA Midwest, I got paid a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less. But then when he started doing Mid South again, working down there, I actually really liked working for Ian. Like Ian had a high opinion of me. I think he still does. He came to my cancer benefit show that Jason Saint ran for me. He's called me and he's reached out to me a couple times. So like I don't have any. I had my issue with Ian when he told me that he was going to book me for the 2016 King of the Death matches, and then I kind of still feel like he lied to me about it and didn't. That caused a whole big thing, and Misty didn't help anything by getting involved either. But I mean, everybody kind of knows how that goes. Um, but I liked Ian. I consider Ian a friend still to this day. I think he still considers me a friend. We don't really talk much anymore, but Ian's one of those guys where when he cares about somebody, he makes it pretty obvious that he actually gives a shit. I mean, I remember a couple times him calling me at like 4 o'clock in the morning because he saw me put a fucking sad post on Facebook, and he just called me to make sure I was okay. Not a lot of guys are going to do that. So Ian's cool. Working for him was cool. And he always paid me what I asked him to pay me when it was Mid South. So yeah, it's one of those things where if we wouldn't have had the falling, but things happen, life happens, I guess. So, but yeah, I had no issues with working for Ian. I actually liked it quite a bit.
Is there anybody that you would not ever recommend working with? Been like, no,
Um,
fuck.
local promoters that nobody knows who the fuck they are. Like Jason Maples, who runs Heroes and Legends in Fort Wayne. That dude can go fuck himself. I wake up every morning, pray that he eats one Snickers pie too many, and he has to get his foot amputated. That fat fucking piece of shit. I really hate that motherfucker. Um, he's owed me money for a long time, and he's tried to make it sound like he hasn't. And he has a very long reputation of fucking people over. So Jason Maples can go fuck himself. And I really don't like that my friends continue to work for him, but it is what it is. Um, beyond that, yeah. So don't ever work for Jason Maples, um, because he probably won't fucking pay you. And and he'll actually I've heard a lot of rumors about how he has asked wrestlers to pay him to be on his pre-shows, and people do it because around in this area there's a lot of fucking dumb marks who should be buying tickets instead of buying gear. Well, they sometimes they don't buy gear. That's beside the point. um I'm one to talk, right? I wrestle in fucking khaki shorts. But yeah, like a lot of people will pay this dude to do his tryout shows because he brings in all these fucking guys, like the bigger name guys that used to be in WWE and all this kind of stuff. 'Cause it's like a convention slash wrestling show combined. And yeah, and people will pay him because they want to go in the locker room and meet these guys and everything. But fuck Jason Maples, he's a fucking piece of shit, and he knows I think that. So anybody who decides to tell him, "Hey, Adam Bueller was shitting on you," he'll be like, "Yeah, fucking, of course he was," because I've been very vocal about it over the last 11 years how much I dislike that guy.
All right. Let's see. Whose idea was it for Marcus Crane to wear your mask at said it couldn't be done?
His actually. He asked me if I still had it, and I had actually just sold it to somebody, but I hadn't given it, but I was still in possession of it at the time. So he asked me if which fun thing about Marcus, and I'll love Marcus forever and ever and ever because of this. So he turned down a flight to go to that show. He like GCW was going to fly him out, and he decided to drive instead because he knew I wanted to go, and he chose the drive so that I could go with him. Because he knew that I wanted to meet Kasai, and I didn't because I'm a giant pussy. I was 10 feet away from him, and I froze up, didn't say a fucking word to him. So I drove out to 13 hours to New Jersey for nothing. But he asked me to if I could if he could wear my mask out to the ring, and I was like, yeah, of course you can. Like I at this point, why would I say no? So yeah, it was his idea, and he asked. So and people fucking loved it.
Let's see. Your thoughts on Alec Naveed?
I love that dude. I'm not gonna say he's the best wrestler out there, and I think he would probably tell you the same, but I fucking love that dude. Like I legitimately want somebody out in the United States to bring that dude out because I want to hang out with him really fucking bad. Like we message each other every once in a while on Facebook. He messaged me just the other day actually. He was messaging me kind of just we're sending like videos back and forth talking to each other. That dude's fucking cool as shit. I really like that dude. I swear to God, he's like a fucking Russian Steve-O. That dude's out of his fucking mind. But yeah, I love that dude. Someone please bring him out so I can hang out with him for real.
I like that dude. Let's see. Jeffrey said, "Sorry I'm late. Glad we got it going." Yeah, yeah. We had problems with this one.
Yeah.
So from the very beginning, we've done had problems with this one. Holy fuck.
Right? It's almost like it didn't want to fucking happen. Like fucking dickhead, what's his face, decides not to do it when it was supposed to happen originally, and then we had technical issues.
Oh fuck. Facebook don't want us to have nice things.
No, Facebook
That's what
doesn't
it
want
is.
me to have nice things, I think is what it is.
Dude, fuck that. We got it going, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't want to ask and have repeat questions. So Jeffrey said he's just gonna sit back and enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody has a
You can
question
ask
that's answered
anything you
already,
want,
I'll answer it.
Jeffrey.
I just won't go into much detail.
You can ask anything you want, Jeffrey. Don't be scared.
Yep.
Just ask.
If I answered it already, I'll just say I already answered and I'll give you the quick answer.
Let's see. So is there a particular reason why you called Kevin and a human a garbage human being?
Yes,
Uh,
there is. Um, I mean, first of all, he's fucking racist, so fuck him for that. If I had known about his fucking racism and his alleged KKK ties and all that bullshit, I wouldn't have fucking done Carnage Cup. I'll just tell you that flat out. Because I actually kind of hold myself to a pretty high moral standard, and I don't associate with shitty people. So that's the main. That's like first and foremost. But beyond that, the reason why I don't like Kevin, and it has nothing to do with what happened at Carnage Cup or anything, because I did Carnage Cup without even talking to Kevin. Josh Crane actually hooked that up. So we didn't talk about price or anything. My first time even talking to Kevin was at Carnage Cup, introducing myself to him. So we didn't talk about money or anything like that. He paid me well enough. I mean, I kind of wish I would have gotten a little bit more, but I wasn't in a position to ask for more. I did because we had a long drive and I don't feel like the pay covered it. But again, we didn't talk about pay. That's not on him. That's on me. But he paid me. He paid me well enough. And he took care of me. Like I didn't have any problems with Kevin at Carnage Cup. The what Where I personally had an issue with Carnage or with Kevin, aside from what I mentioned earlier, is that when I don't remember how it got brought up or whatever, but a few months back when a whole bunch of people just randomly decided to shit on me for having HIV in wrestling, like I did it intentionally, he decided to jump in and say some shit. Now, keep in mind that this motherfucker is shitting on me for doing death matches while being HIV positive, unknowingly, mind you. Yet this motherfucker is the one who neglected to ask me to produce a fucking blood test. I kind of feel like if that motherfucker was so concerned about it that would have been something that he probably should have asked of me before. But no, don't fucking shit on me for having what I have when you're the one who fucking booked me. Because to me, I feel like you're just as much at fault as I am in not asking me to produce a clean blood test to make sure that I'm okay. So, so fuck Kevin Brennan for that. If you want to be that fucking much of a douchebag, I guarantee you I can be a bigger one. So fuck you, dude.
Okay. Let's see. This is reading.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
I'm
100%
sorry.
honest on everything. What the fuck am
He's
I gonna lose
yeah.
over, dude?
What's his face?
But if some people not gonna book me anymore because of what I say.
I'm just reading what people are writing. It's fucking hilarious. It's fucking great. You could see it too, right? You see what they're writing, right?
Yeah, yeah, like kinda. I can kind of see a little bit. I'm like, I like for I don't know. I get really distracted because I start going on rants and then I forget that people are messaging things. I'm just kind of letting you feed me stuff that they say because yeah, I just zone out and start ranting.
Oh, look, we got a question. Who's your favorite wrestler at the moment?
Um, I mean, as far as death, like I'll try to keep stuff deathmatch related because that's why we're all here. But I fucking like favorite guys to watch right now. I fucking love Orin Vite. I met that dude. Oddly enough, I met that dude in this shitty, horrible fucking show run by this other piece of shit. I don't like a lot of promoters in my area. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. But this one motherfucker, he ran the show in a bowling alley in Valparaiso, Indiana. It's like 20 minutes away from my house. It's the town my girlfriend lives in, actually. That's actually, of all places, that's where I actually met Orin Vite. And he was talking to me about wanting to get into death matches and things like that. I thought he was a cool motherfucker, like back then. I thought he was cool as shit, and we like just clicked right away. So I fucking love Orin Vite. I love all the. I love how like he's really gotten out there and he's gotten his name out. G Raver is another one of my favorite guys. Not only my favorite opponent that I've ever worked with, like hands down. Marcus is fucking phenomenal. Like I'm so glad that people are finally seeing what I saw from that dude years ago, as far as like how creative that fucking dude is. But yeah, Marcus is amazing. Schlack is a favorite one to watch of mine. Eric Ryan is really like I'm really enjoying watching Eric Ryan more and more the more I watch him lately. Um, like non deathmatch guys, like guys I like watching right now. I've always been really big on Will Ospreay. I've always fucking loved watching Will Ospreay. Zack Sabre Jr. is another big favorite of mine. Love watching that dude. Um, I've drawn blanks now because I really don't watch a whole lot of wrestling. If you were around earlier for my rant on how soured I am on wrestling as of late, you kind of understand why. But yeah, I haven't been
He
watching a
said that
ton of
that
wrestling.
wrestling broke up with him. That's what he
Yeah.
said. That wrestling,
Well,
it feels like wrestling broke up with you.
yes, exactly. Not
That's
that I
what.
broke up with wrestling, but the wrestling broke up with me. So
Yes.
yeah, but yeah, I would say like those are guys that I like watching a lot right now.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, and Orin is
And
straight edge too. I fucking love that dude. Orin's not the only straight edge deathmatch wrestler. I was also straight edge. A lot of because I look and act like I do a lot of drugs, but I don't. So,
Uh, and then the worst what, Corey? I guess you're meaning oh, who is your worst wrestler at the moment? Who do you want to shit
worse,
on right now?
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Who do you
like
want to shit on right now?
I don't really want to shit on anybody that like I don't like to shit on people unless they've given me a reason to shit on. Like there are guys that I think that their work is shit, but I'm not gonna sit there and bash them for it. Now if they do something personally to me, then I'll shit on their work all fucking day. Like like if I think they're a piece of shit and they're a shitty worker, yeah, they'll absolutely fucking hear that shit. But for the most part, like I can't really think of for most people that I've done shows with are pretty cool. So it's like if I don't think that they're any good, I'm just kind of like, they're a nice guy at least. But yeah, no, yeah, I don't like to shit on people. If they're a nice guy and they suck, I don't like to shit on them.
All right. Lane Marks, Insane Lane. We had him on last night actually. Uh, he says he don't watch a lot either. I'm guessing
Yeah,
you're referring to the wrestling.
I didn't know he was on here, dude. Lane, I miss you
He's
so much, dude. You're awesome. Stop living
he
all the way down in Alabama or wherever the fuck you live.
see, I had a question and I forgot it. I'll think of it in a minute though. But fuck. Uh, okay. Your best give us your best and worst rat story.
uh, Okay. So I don't really have like a lot of bad stories. See, I get about as many chicks as you would think a guy like me would get, which is zero. Um, but no, I have there's one rat that I ended up. This is under the worst rat story. There was a rat that I didn't know she was a rat that I got involved with. Come to find out that she was a rat, and then so that didn't last. It's not a very good story. It's just I just found out she was fucking a piece of shit. Um, so fuck that bitch too. But best rat story. This goes all the way back to like 2004. This is when I was working for, oddly enough, Jason Maples. This is back when he used to run EWF in Marion, Indiana. And there was a rat that my roommate at the time, one of my best friends that we used to do backyard wrestling together, Georgia. That's right. I'm sorry, Lane. Um, Georgia and Alabama are kind of the same when you think about it. um, but yeah, so he was with a rat but way back then. His name's Jay West. I fucking love the dude to death. Um, so there was a rat that he was seeing at the time that I fucking hated. And we did this spot. It was me and dude Ed Gonzalez. He was the other guy that lived with us. There was three of us that lived together. We used to go out to Marion, Indiana to do EWF shows every week. So we did this spot where we did this. We found this empty gas tank, like this plastic gas container, and we dumped it out, filled it up with water and everything. And this was in like November, December, super cold. And so they had the building. They heated it with like the big like jet engine kerosene heater kind of thing, so it was super fucking loud. So me and Ed, we were in a stable, and we jumped Jay West at the end, and the rat he was seeing was in the crowd. And so we did a thing. We tie him up in the ropes, and we take this container, the gas container, that we tried to clean it out with water the best we could, and just fill it up with water, but there was still a little bit of kerosene still in it because we couldn't wash it out completely. So we dump it on Jay West while he's tied up, and we have another dude. He lights a torch with the kerosene heater, so where it looks like we're going to set him on fire. And they cut off the heaters when we did this. So then like the building smelled like kerosene after we dumped all the shit on them. So we had everybody fully believing that, oh my God, we actually dumped all this kerosene on this dude. And I remember the rat he was seeing was with her friend. She legitimately thought that she was going to witness a murder happen in that ring. She was like hysterical, fucking crying her eyes out. Her friend is like hugging onto her, is like, "No, it's okay, nothing's gonna happen, nothing's gonna happen." And yeah, it was water. It wasn't. I mean, maybe there was a little bit of kerosene mixed into it, but still, like, it was water. And yeah, she fully believed this dumb fucking idiot thought that we were gonna set this fucking dude on fire in front of like 15 people.
Let's
So
see.
yeah, that's probably best
Corey,
rap story.
your funniest road story.
Funniest road story. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of a lot of funny road stories, which is kind of weird because you would think spending as much time on the road with Dale Patricks as I have, I've seen his ass more often than I care to. There was one time going to VOW that Ace Perry got himself locked into a bathroom in Ohio somewhere in like Eastern Ohio. We still don't know how he did it. There's one time in particular, we were coming back from VOW, and if anybody's watched the VOW shows, I don't know if you ever noticed, or if you've been to them, you've definitely noticed. They had the confetti shooters where it would just pop really loud, and then like confetti would shoot out. Um, so we're driving back from VOW, and I didn't know at the time, but Dale and Josh actually had a few of those. And so we're driving back. It's fucking 11, 12 o'clock at night, probably 1 in the morning. I'm dead ass tired. And they set one off in my car. It's loud as fuck. And then my car fills up with confetti. They're cracking up laughing. And then so we're driving down the road a little bit further. And then as soon as we stop, pop, there's a second one that goes off. I'm about to lose my shit. I'm getting so fucking mad. There's confetti all over my fucking car. Um, Go to leave, a third one fucking goes off, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ! Like one was too many. So we stop at this gas station. I get all the fucking confetti cleaned out of my car. I'm just sitting there. I'm so fucking tired. I swear to fucking God, I just hear this loud ass pop for the fourth fucking time. I've never been closer to fucking shoot fighting Dale Patricks in my entire fucking life. I was so fucking mad. Like it was one of those things I was so mad. I didn't even say anything. I just put my head down and I was just so angry. I was so mad I couldn't even show it. I just wanted to fucking hit him. But yeah, that's a typical road trip with Dale, if in case anybody is wondering.
Well, what's your worst one?
Worst
Like this
road
has made
trip.
you completely miserable. Miserable.
I'm not usually that miserable for the most part on trips. Um, I mean, it's not to shit on anybody. When we uh, when we went to Slave to the Death matches for Primos in 2017, it was just me and Aiden Blackheart. And I love Aiden, but the motherfucker didn't talk hardly at all the way there and the way back. So it was just a really quiet road trip up there. Um, oh fuck. I actually need to go back. I have a better best road trip story that I'll get into. But beyond that, we went out to California one time. It was me, Jake Oman, David Jacobs, and Trip Cassidy. Um, and yeah, it wasn't as much. I mean, it was fun and everything, but we were all just so fucking miserable and tired and like uh we were just it's a wonder we didn't like it was one of those things where it's a wonder that we didn't end up at each other's throats because of how fucking miserable that we were. But best road trip story actually was when we went to Denver. So it was me, my roommate's sister's boyfriend, and then this one dude who was living in our basement at the time that I didn't really know that well. He just randomly decided to go to Denver with us, and so it was like a 17-hour drive. Um, I had to wrestle that night, an hour away from my house, so I had to backtrack an hour to pick them up, and then we got started on out to Denver because the show was the next day. And my roommate started the trip out already passed out in my back seat because he'd been day drinking that day, so he didn't make it very far. Midway through the trip, my friend that lived in the basement, Zach, he's telling me all this weird shit about how when we're driving through Iowa, how anytime he hears Slipknot, it makes him think these weird thoughts about killing people and things. And I don't fucking know this dude very much at the time. So we get to the show and we lose Zach because he gets super drunk and runs off into the night looking for a dispensary before it closes. My roommate's still drunk, disappears. We have no idea where he is. I'm pretty sure I need serious medical attention at the end of the show. And I have no idea where Zach is. I have no idea where my roommate is. We're in Denver. I've never been here before. And I don't know how the fuck we all got back together, but we ended up leaving the promoter Joe's house at like 8 o'clock in the morning to drive back, dead ass tired. Zach ended up waking up with his face in dog shit that apparently he slept in the entire night, not realizing. There was about 100 people in his fucking living room. We slept under a piano on the floor. It was fucking weird. That's that's like the super super too long didn't read version story because there's way more to it. That's how long about the trip story.
Holy shit. What was it like being in the first ever Tide Pod death match?
Oh my God. So I do a lot of things for shock value. Hence the whole slicing my fucking chest open every goddamn death match I did. I thought that would be really fucking funny to do. Don't ever eat a Tide Pod. I'll just tell you that right now. It's not, no matter what it is, what it's for, it's not fucking worth it. That was the most disgusting thing I've ever had in my mouth. Um, I threw up almost immediately. The first and only time. So, so Lane, I'm right there with you, throwing up in a match, but mine just wasn't on videos. The only difference. But yeah, threw up everywhere. Um, I was spitting out soap for like 3 days after that. Like I ended up getting home, my water jug was like halfway full of spit, and it was sudsy, really fucking bad. It was I was seriously spitting out soap the entire like for a full day and a half, easy. Worst experience I've ever had in my life. Way worse than chemo. I would sooner go through chemo than eat a Tide Pod.
God damn.
Yeah, it was bad.
Do you have any experiences with the cops?
I actually don't. I'm pretty law-abiding, so like I really haven't had any run-ins with cops or anything. Like outside of wrestling, I'm just gonna tell you guys this right now. If it weren't for deathmatch wrestling, that I would not come off in any way as an interesting person at all. I'll tell you what I do. I'll tell you what I do when I like when I wasn't wrestling, and it's the same thing that I do now. I sit at home in my room on my computer. I play Magic the Gathering. I go to work and I watch movies. That's it. I'm actually kind of a really big fucking nerd outside of wrestling. So yeah, no, I haven't really had any issues with cops or anything like that.
Okay. The worst experience with a fan.
I don't. I'm trying to think of one. Other than like, I mean, I've had their dick because gay wrestling fans are just like straight wrestling fans when how they message women, I guess they message us that same type of shit. So I kind of am really sympathetic for female wrestlers who get that shit all the time. um so I would have this dude, he sent me a picture of his dick and I didn't appreciate it. So I started acting like I was super into it, and that I was going to send him a picture of mine, and like I was reciprocating. And finally, he was like, "Yeah, yeah, send me one, send me one." So I Googled pictures of genital mutilation. So I tried to find the nastiest picture that I could of somebody's mutilated dick. So I sent that to him, and I said, "Don't ever send me that gross shit again, you nasty motherfucker." And it just kept going and going and going, to where I just got like, how did you think this was gonna go? That like you were just gonna randomly send me your dick and I'd be all about it and everything. And he got to the point where he threatened to call the cops on me for harassment, and then he reported me and blocked me. And then I spent like a week in Facebook jail because of it.
Fuck, man. Okay. Does anybody have any more questions? We have ran out of questions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Nobody's asking any questions anymore.
What the fuck?
You could ask anything you fucking want.
Anything. You guys don't have any fucking questions for me. I'm actually having fun doing this. Come on.
Let's see. Uh, what's your favorite weapon to use?
I actually always really like doing matches with light tubes. Like I know a lot of people like not a lot, but like some deathmatch guys. Like I know Devin Moore. He was never really a big fan of light tubes, but I always fucking loved light tubes. Like if I was doing a match with tubes, I got super excited. Um, to counter that, least favorite one, I always fucking hated carpet strips. VOW, when I first started working for them, they would only put me in matches with fucking carpet strips, and I hated it. Absolutely fucking hated it. Bill, if you're watching, I fucking hated doing carpet strips. Why'd you fucking do that to me all the time? I miss Bill. I haven't seen him in years.
Oh, fuck, man. Wasn't he supposed to do, I think he's trying to find a venue for it. The Lord of Anarchy, man.
Yeah, I think
Like,
they ended up losing the venue. I was supposed to be at Lord of Anarchy 4. I was gonna like come do like a surprise run in, but like I was kind of I don't know, trying not to die, so I couldn't.
favorite match you have been in?
I answered that earlier, but the match with the G Raver that I did for VOW, the West Virginia death matches one, hands down my favorite one. Oddly enough, the match with all the fucking carpet strips we had to do. There's one where I stabbed him with the tattoo needles. Not that that narrows it down, because fuck, that's like his thing. That's like saying the match where I fucking cut my chest open. Um, no, that was it was on the March 3rd show. They had like Toby Klein and Matt Tremont and No Rope Barbed Wire, and I know Schlack was on it, and G Raver wrestled me. What the fuck am I talking about? I don't remember what else was on the show, um, but yeah, that's my favorite match I've ever done, hands down.
Okay, death metal or deathcore?
More often than not, deathcore. I like deathcore a lot better usually, but there are some death metal bands that I would rather listen to over some deathcore bands. Corpse, obviously, I get into Cannibal Corpse a lot, Cattle Decapitation, Devourment. Like I like the like as far as like the death metal side, I like the more like slammy side of death metal, but the deathcore I actually like a lot of the breakdowns in deathcore. So but yeah, I would deathcore is usually my go-to over death metal.
Let's see. Jeffrey said wants to know, did we talk about Trainwreck and Angel of Death recently? We did talk about the Angel of Death.
Yeah, we
We
did.
did cover that one. You want to give the quick answer for that one?
For what about
For we didn't
Trainwreck?
cover Trainwreck, but
Um,
give the quick answer for the Angel of Death. We
yeah.
covered that one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Angel of Death was it's a wonder nobody got hurt because it was basically just super dangerous gimmicks with guys that probably shouldn't have been doing them. So yeah, just good crazy stipulations don't make good deathmatch tournaments. Talent makes good deathmatch tournaments. But you have to have the stips too, but they don't have to be crazy and over the top. You just have to have good guys to actually do them. Good wrestlers will be able to do almost anything with what you give them, for the most part, at least.
All right, let's talk about Trainwreck, the sickness.
I'm
What did you
actually
think about that?
I didn't follow it super closely. From what I could see, it definitely looked like the it was good, like the talent was there and everything. Um, I certainly wouldn't have been excited to do it outdoors, but like everybody showed looked like it was a good time, and um, fortunate that it didn't draw very well. Um, and I think a lot of it, from what I've been seeing, people were questionable whether or not it was going to happen. Um, I was kind of 50-50 on it personally, just because, I mean, I can think of about 100 things that have been really big that were announced as far as wrestling goes in general that didn't happen. So you almost have to take anything with a grain of salt if it's from something that isn't already established. Um, but I think he did an awesome fucking job at it. I think that he pulled it off, and I wish the draw would have been better for him. But yeah, I got nothing but good things to say about it. I'm really, really glad that he was able to pull it off.
Okay. Let's see. Any advice you would give to anyone?
Just general advice in general about
I
anything.
guess so. About yeah. Let's go with that.
Okay. Um, hmm. What's a good piece of advice? Um, if you're a pro wrestler and you contract HIV, don't fucking tell anybody. Uh, no, that's shitty advice. Don't do that. I'm actually really glad that I told everybody. Um, no, I mean, as far as like wrestling goes, if they get advice for wrestling, fucking don't get involved in it because it's stupid. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I don't know what I'm supposed to give advice about. And I'm trying to think of something funny and I'm stalling, and but my brain sucks and I can't do it.
One of the questions is how big is Batista's dick?
Who the fuck asked that? Who was that?
Cody Hunter.
Oh, fucking Cody. I've heard it's massive, but yeah, obviously I don't fucking know.
And he wants you to yell at his grandma's cat for some reason. He wants to know, can you yell at it?
Can I yell at it? What's the cat's name? I don't know. I don't fucking care. Tell that cat that to fuck off or something. I don't know.
Not
I
like
can't be mean
cats.
to a cat. I can't. Well, I take that back. I can be mean to a cat. We have two cats that live here, and one I like and one I don't like. I want to throw the other cat in the trash, but everyone would be mad at me if I do that. So I won't.
Worst city you have ever wrestled in?
Worst. Oh, I should be able to think of that. It's somewhere in Indiana. I can tell you that right now. Because Indiana fucking sucks. Worst city that I've ever lived or that I lived in that I've ever wrestled in. Um, fuck. Um, I'm gonna say this is why I wish my brain didn't suck because I know I've got a story about something like that. I know I do. Somewhere in here there's a story, but I can't think of it. Um, I am going to say LaGrow, Indiana, because that's the tiniest place I can think of. No, no, I take that back. Right down the street from where I live. It's fucking La Crosse, Indiana. I tell people that I wrestled in that live around here. I tell people that I've lived in lacrosse, that I've wrestled in lacrosse, and they tell me fucking where. Where could you have possibly wrestled in that town? So yeah, lacrosse sucks. That's probably the worst place I wrestled in.
Let's see. Thoughts on Peter B using unsafe glass?
I've heard that a lot. Like my guess is he probably just didn't know at the time, or maybe I'm more than willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because I haven't had any issues with him, and I tend to do that with people that I don't really have a bad opinion on. Um, I hope that he just didn't realize that he was using the wrong kind of glass. If he continues to use that kind of glass now, I'm gonna say, fuck, you're Peter B, you're fucking up. Quit fucking using the wrong glass. Buy tempered glass and stop being dumb. That's assuming that he's still using shitty glass. But yeah, hopefully he just didn't know at the time and he's since corrected that. If he's not, fucking Peter, stop it. Use the right kind of glass. You're gonna fuck somebody up.
Okay, ultimate question. Popeye's chicken sandwich or Chick-fil-A?
I haven't had Popeye's chicken sandwich, but right off the bat, if you ask me anything or Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna go with anything. I don't know. I very much prefer Popeyes over Chick-fil-A. I don't know. Something about Chick-fil-A just doesn't rub me the right way. It's probably all the homophobia that you can taste in their food.
Let's see.
You know, I don't really like the taste of bigotry. So yeah.
They're not open on Sundays.
Yeah, well, double fuck them. So no, I won't. I refuse to give my money to Chick-fil-A. I just won't fucking do it. Fuck them. Fuck Chick-fil-A. And if you support Chick-fil-A, you're a monster. I'll just tell you that right now. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Ooh, we didn't ask this question. Uh, who is one or more people you would want to have a match against that you didn't?
That's a good question. As far as like people that I'll try to keep it to where like people I realistically could have had matches with that couldn't. Um, like as far as like if I could have still had death matches and all that. Like I was really excited when I was gonna get put with Matt Tremont at Crimson Cup, but he couldn't make it. But Tremont I would have loved to have done a match with. Alex Cologne would have been fucking awesome. Um, fuck. Why can't I think? Danny, I would have loved to have done a match with Danny Havoc, even just a regular match. It wouldn't even have to have been a death match. Would have been fucking awesome. Um, The last death match that I was booked for before I got canceled was for VOW with Marcus. I would have loved to have done like the steps that we had set in place for VOW with me and Marcus. I would have loved to have done that with Marcus, but yeah, guys I didn't get a chance to work with that I would have liked to. Yeah, for sure. Tremont, Havoc, Alex Cologne. I was, you know what? I never got put with John Wayne Murdoch, and I always thought I would have always liked to have worked Murdoch. That would have been cool.
What about the Japanese guys?
Japanese guys, you know what? All like before anybody even knew who the fuck they were, I was always a big fan of Takeda and Kodaka, especially when they were a tag team in like the early part of 2010. I always thought they were cool as shit. So like Kodaka, I would have loved to have done a match with, especially Takeda, Kasai, fucking obviously. Um, but yeah, really any
Is
one
that
of
where you
them.
got the light tube across the chest? Is from
Yep,
Kasai?
that's
Like
exactly.
a tribute
Yep.
to him?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Like that at a point, and also like with King of the Death or Prince of the Death matches being the first death match I did. Like I just wanted people to remember me, even if the match was bad. I just wanted to create one of those like moments that people remembered and talked about years after it happened. So I was like, I don't think a lot of people are super familiar with Kasai, or at least the specific stuff that Kasai does out here. So fuck it, I'm just gonna do the fucking chess thing because I don't think people know that about Kasai, and hopefully that'll shock people. So that was mostly the motivation behind it, but also because like Kasai was a big inspiration for, I mean, especially me, but for fucking almost everybody doing this shit. So yeah, it was definitely my Kasai tribute for sure. That's exactly where I started doing it.
Okay. Fuck, we jumped off question. The retired guys. Who would you like to go against? That's retired.
The Japanese guys. Matsunaga would be fucking awesome. Like I would love to do like Mitsuhiro Matsunaga would be fucking awesome. American Deathmatch guys. Danny Havoc again, be fucking awesome. Um, fuck, I'm trying to think of some other ones. Um, a lot of people would, I don't know why I thought about this. I didn't think about this if he was still around. A lot of people have said they would fucking love to see me and JC Bailey if that was still a possibility. And that would have been a big, big deal for me. Like I would have fucking, even when he was around, I wanted to work with JC Bailey before I was doing death matches. So like that would have been really fucking cool too.
That would be a bloodbath. That would be a bloodbath. That would be awesome. Let's see. Josh wants to know decide or deceased.
What? Oh,
He said
deicide
decide.
or deceased. I don't listen to deicide. So yeah. And I don't even know, is deceased a band? I don't know. I don't listen to like the old school thrash stuff. Like I don't. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for you on that.
What is the smallest crowd you've ever wrestled in front of?
The smallest crowd. I can't remember wrestling in front of a crowd any lower than eight, but I can think of several shows that I've wrestled on that only had eight. I actually ran a couple that only had eight. So a couple of them were me. The shows for Mr. California, those were pretty low drawing shows. So I would say his shows and the shows I ran myself were probably the ones that had the least amount of people that I wrestled in front of. I'm a wrestler. I'm not a promoter. Okay, I can't fucking fill seats.
Let's see. Number one rule that you live by.
Number one rule I live by: don't be a piece of shit to someone unless they deserve it. Like I try to be cool with everybody. I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But if somebody's a piece of shit to me, don't think that I'm going to kill you with kindness. I will be a piece of shit right back to you. I work in retail. It does not, that doesn't exempt you from me fucking giving shit right back to you if you give shit to me. So, I've gotten in trouble a lot because of the way that I have talked to customers. So yeah, if you're cool to me, I'm cool to you. If you're an asshole to me, I will be a bigger one. I will be what you are to me tenfold. So don't be a piece of shit is my number one rule that I live by.
Tim wants to know who is the most handsome man you know and why is it him?
He's up there. Tim's pretty cool. Uh, Tim actually saved me from the barbed wire at Lord of Anarchy 3 that Devin Moore Finley rolled me into. So Tim always has a special place in my heart. No, most handsome man that I know personally would probably be him. If I had to actually say in general, it's going to be Tom Holland because that dude's a fucking dreamboat.
Uh, Cody wants to know favorite pizza topping.
I'm one of those weirdos that really likes pineapple. So I'm not
Holy
gonna say it's
fuck.
my favorite pizza topping, but it's certainly in the running. Like the three best things that you can put on a pizza are pepperoni, bacon, and pineapple. And I fucking challenge anybody to prove me wrong. Fuck you, you don't have to put jalapenos on it. Jalapenos are nice, but no, I said the best one, okay? It's my roommate again.
What is your animal spirit?
What is my spirit animal?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say animal spirit. The fuck are you talking about? Spirit
Ah,
animal. Um, what what's the animal that is like that you would think is all badass and you don't want to fuck with it, but it's actually a big gigantic like it's a huge wuss and you could just fuck with it all day. It just looks like you probably can't. Whatever one that is, that's my spirit animal. Because
I
I'm
don't know what
actually,
that
believe
would
it or
be.
not, don't let the deathmatch wrestling fool you. I'm actually a giant pussy. I'm actually a pretty big wuss.
Ooh, here's a good one, Jeffrey. How far is AEW going to go with being hardcore?
I think it'll be fine. I mean, is until I think that they will go as far as TNT will allow. TNT doesn't really seem to be bothered by what they're doing at all. I kind of feel like TNT is embracing that they're an alternative product to WWE in that regard. So until they go too far with it, or they, ew, gross, or until they cross a line somehow with it, I don't really think that it's going to hurt them in any way at all. I think that there's a there's a lot of fans out there that were around during the Attitude Era that miss that kind of stuff being on TV, and I think that they're going to pull a lot of those fans in. So yeah, I think that they're going to go about as far as TNT will allow them to go for sure.
Okay. What town has the best rats?
Um, I don't know. I never really did very well with rats. Um, I don't know, something about being covered in blood and self-mutilating yourself kind of chases them away. So I'm not really sure.
Let's see. Popeyes or Bojangles?
I don't know what the fuck Bojangles is.
Me
So
neither.
Popeyes.
I'm reading the comments. Cody said I'm a vegetarian. And I can't support fast food companies other than Taco Bell. So far, it looks like we might have to get along.
Dude, we will fucking go down on Taco Bell. Like you and I will fucking beat up some Taco Bell. I eat that shit all the time.
You
Well, I take that back. I just
Takeda was
recently went back to
sick.
starting to eat like a fucking asshole. Like I was eating really, really clean for about 3 months, but now I'm like actually trying to gain weight. So yeah, I'm back to eating like an idiot.
Let's see. You versus Takeda would have been sick. That's what somebody said. They said, "Fuck yeah," too.
I
Let's
think
see.
so. I think it would have been cool as fuck.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's see, Cody. Who would win in a fight, you or Hornswoggle?
I feel like he's always carrying a knife on him, so probably him. Like he just strikes me as somebody who always has like a fucking switchblade for some reason, and I don't know why. I met him before. He's a nice enough guy, but I'm pretty sure that he would stab me.
Let's see. Uh, was cutting your chest a tribute to Jun Kasai? We
Yep,
did cover that,
it sure was.
right?
100%.
Oh, pro tip, Japan has the best ring rats.
You know what? I actually started trying to learn Japanese recently and like actually giving it a serious effort. So that's good to know if I ever decide to make it out there. I don't know if I'm right, but I do know a really, really shitty I don't want to say pickup line, but I taught myself a dirty phrase in Japanese, so maybe that dude can confirm it. Um, what is it? I don't remember what night is in Japanese. No, I remember. I remember. So yeah, I know that if you say, and maybe I'm putting this together wrong, uh, watashi hoshi kitanai yoru, which means I want dirty night. That's the best I got.
Okay. Oh, Jeffrey wants to know David Arquette and death matches. Ha.
Um, I don't know how I'm supposed to answer that. I thought it was cool as shit when I found out that he was actually in a match with Tubes. Like I was like, fucking good for that guy. Like it's he earned a lot of my respect. Not that, that means anything to David Arquette, but I just thought it was cool as fuck that he put himself in a match like that. Um, I kind of wish that it would have ended a little more favorably for him, but yeah, I kind of feel like he didn't really fully understand what he was getting himself into with getting into a match with Gage. Um, uh, okay, so yeah, that is way better. He corrected me on my so
Oh,
thank you.
and his first date with his wife was at a Freedoms event.
That's cool as fuck. That's badass.
That is.
Yeah,
That
fucking
that
good on
is
you,
fucking
man.
so. All right, is there any more questions? Any more? Do you have anything that you wanna leave us with? Some words of wisdom
Um, kind of
about anything
about anything.
from your HIV to death matches to life in general. What do
Uh,
you want to leave us with?
I mean, first and foremost, and I'm glad that people asked about the HIV thing too. Hopefully, I was able to kind of educate people at least slightly. I know I didn't go into super huge detail on a lot of it. First and foremost, definitely want to stress that just because I'm HIV positive doesn't mean that I'm contagious. And I know that there's nobody watching this that has protested me being on any wrestling shows or anything. But if you have an issue with me wrestling being HIV positive because you think that I can give it to you in some way or another, you're an ignorant motherfucker and you need to pull your head out of your fucking ass because I can't. And yeah, so I don't know. I kind of really hate the fact that because of other people's ignorance that I had the most important thing of my life that I had for 15 years ripped away from me because of other people. So if you're one of those people that think that I don't have a place in wrestling because of something that I can't give you, fuck you, first and foremost. But I don't think that applies to anybody watching this anyway. So
Let's
beyond that, I definitely want to stress that I'm living a perfectly normal, healthy life with HIV. I'm actually in the best shape that I've ever been in my entire life, believe it or not. But yeah, I mean, it's just I'm not contagious is the main thing that I want to stress to people. Beyond that, I mean, fuck, I don't have anything to plug or anything like that. I guess I just want to kind of really throw out there that the stigma that we still hold regarding HIV is total bullshit. Um, and hopefully, my prediction is right from what I've been keeping up on, and we get it cured sooner than later because I definitely think that there's a cure pretty much around the corner with it. And don't come at me with the conspiracy shit of like, no, they know how to cure it. It's just more profitable to treat it. That's fucking stupid. And if there's a cure for it, then it's gonna fucking happen. So yeah, I get that's the main thing that I want to kind of get across on there.
see. We got two more questions that just came in. Let's see.
Okay.
Best experience with a fan, and how is your current health?
Current health is amazing, actually, right now. I mean, like I just mentioned, I'm in the best shape that I've ever been in my entire life. I'm stronger than I've ever been in my entire life. Like, fuck, I just bench pressed 125 pounds for the first time in my life yesterday at the gym. I know that's not a lot of weight, but fuck, I'm only 155 pounds. Like, I kind of feel like for my size and my frame, that's pretty fucking good. Um, but yeah, I'm in excellent health right now. I'm doing real as far as all that goes. I'm doing really, really, really good. You wouldn't know it to look at me, or to see me that I have what I have, which is pretty fucking good. So yeah, current health is best it's ever been, oddly enough.
And your best experience with a fan?
I mean, I've had fans come up to me that have just told me like how much that especially going through all this stuff, that just how much that what I'm trying to do and that I'm still trying, was trying to persevere and continue on with wrestling and using that as a way to try to educate people on everything, that just how much they told me that that meant to them and how it inspired them to continue on with doing things that they would be able to do at that point, like just completely, just, I don't want to say exempt because I don't think that's the right word, but excluded. That they just felt excluded from so many things, and that seeing me trying to push on and do this regardless, that it inspired them to, continue to try to do the shit that they didn't think that would be possible for them to do. So just stuff like that just makes me feel really good, and just I can't really say like a single best experience, but that's definitely way up there. But just the people that just have reached out and told me that they liked my work, and that, because I'll be completely honest, I've always thought that I was kind of the shits. Like, I've never really, like, I know I wasn't terrible. Like, I knew I wasn't fucking garbage. But like, I've never really had a very high opinion of myself. So anytime that fans would tell me that they liked my match, or that they thought that I was a good wrestler, or that I was one of their favorites or anything like that, like, it always just made me feel really, really good about myself. So that was always really cool whenever people would come out. Because
That's
believe it or
always
not,
nice.
yeah, believe it or not, a lot of us wrestlers, we actually very much like it when you come up to us and tell us that, you like our shit, and that you like watching us, and that, we like compliments as much as anybody else does. So, don't feel like it's a to go up to a wrestling match or they had a good match or anything, because I can't really speak for everybody else, but I personally always fucking loved it. So, yeah, don't
Well,
feel like you're
that's what
bothered.
y'all are doing. Y'all are doing it for us.
Exactly,
That's
exactly. Like, I,
yeah.
yeah, we're certainly not fucking doing it for the money. Like, we're not doing it for money. We're doing it for the sake of entertaining people. And if you coming up and telling us that you were entertained is just telling us that we did what we set out to do, and that always makes us happy.
Awesome. Let's see. Same shit happened to Magic Johnson with HIV. People thought they could catch it from him playing basketball. Damn, I
Yep.
didn't know that.
Yep.
Now he has no trace of it in his body, and I wish you the same for you someday.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, that, like, Magic Johnson was actually the reason why I decided to try to wrestle, regardless. Because when Magic Johnson retired, it was originally because of nobody wanted to play with him. Everybody thought that he was an HIV risk being on the court. So he retired, but then he ended up coming back for like a season and a half, while he had HIV, and that, looking back on it, when I was going through my issues with it early on, because I announced in February that I wasn't going to be returning to wrestling. I wrestled one match on May the 4th of this year, and the only reason why I was on that match is because nobody knew I was wrestling. It was kind of like a retirement ceremony that this company was doing for me, which when it was planned was fully supposed to be like exactly that. It was supposed to be like a retirement ceremony, and I made the decision, fuck that. If Magic Johnson can come back to basketball and still play, why the fuck can't I still wrestle? I can't give it to anybody. Um, so that's what I was trying to do. And I guess a lot of people even freaked out, about me wrestling on that show, but it's like they couldn't fucking do anything about it. It was already going to happen. So that's the one and only time that I've been able to wrestle this year, and it's only because nobody knew that I was going to. But yeah, Magic Johnson was a big reason why I decided to try to continue wrestling with it.
Awesome. Let's see. Cody wants to know, do you still happen to have a copy of the Best of DVD you released a few years back?
Fun fact about all of that, because I make my shit myself, I pretty much always have my best of DVDs. So if you want one, reach out to me. I'll make you a copy and ship it out. Because,
There you go.
yeah, all my best ofs I make myself. And when you make them yourself, you never run out of copies.
There you go. That's something that you can plug right there. There
There
you
you
go.
go. If anybody wants some old used copies of a fucking dude that doesn't wrestle anymore, then there you go. 15 bucks,
Awesome, man.
$5 shipping. Like, get at me.
There you go. We got a plug. Well, I want to thank you for taking time to do this for us. I
No
appreciate it.
problem, man. No, it honestly, like, I'm glad that people even give a shit. So the fact that you guys asked me to do it actually means quite a bit. And thank you to everybody who was chiming in with questions. And it's one of those things where it's like I feel very much like um, you know, everybody just kind of forgotten about me and just kind of moved on. And because I don't think I really did anything that remarkable for people to remember me anyway. So the fact that people still give a shit and still actually want to watch and listen to me talk and all that kind of shit, it makes me feel really, really good. So thank you guys for having me on and everybody submitting questions and watching and everything. This legit made my night. I'm not gonna lie. This is actually really, really cool. So
Awesome,
thank,
man.
thank you guys.
With all the bullshit that has happened, just trying to get this to go down.
Right.
Uh, fuck, man. We went through some bullshit to get this.
Yeah. I'm glad
With
it
some
happened. I'm
bullshit.
really glad.
Fuck, man. So, well, I want to thank you, and
Oh, one more thing to plug. Sorry.
yes, yep.
Unsanctioned Pro. I was like, Derek will kill me if I don't plug this. Unsanctioned Pro, November 23rd. You hear me and my extramarital heterosexual husband, Scotty Ceriti, doing commentary on Unsanctioned Pro. There's also another one coming up in January. Please, if you have not checked out Pro, check them out because they're the only reason why I have any involvement in wrestling still. So big plug there.
Awesome, man. Well, again, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
So, all right, take it easy, man.
Take it easy. You too. See you guys.
Later.